Hey friends, welcome to the Social Society. We are the modern day marketing agency that has quite literally turned the branding world upside down. Over the past several years, we have been traveling the world working with trailblazers and industry innovators. But our secret is our team. We are about to give you the inside scoop into what we do and who we are. So get comfy, grab a drink of choice, and be ready for some mic drop moments. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Social Society podcast. My name is Candace.
And I'm Haylee.
And I'm so excited to talk about this today. We're really going to dive a little deeper into Haylee and I's relationship, our business relationship, how we found each other, the yin and yang of our relationship. So
Love it.
My one true love.
Which one's the yin, right? The feminine is the flow, right? The
I
yang
think
is
so.
So I'm the yin, you're the yang.
Yeah, I love that. So, we're going to talk about feminine energy versus masculine energy and just like the yin and yang of business. So I figured we'd start this out by talking about how we found each other and how we started working together.
I love this question. People are like, how do you find your team members? And I'm like, Instagram?
Yeah.
Like, I think I looked up literally assistant or business manager and I found you and you had such a vibrant, just even your picture, which goes to say social media is important because people can feel. But
yes.
I immediately was like, ooh, who is this? And at the same time, the person that was helping me with the back end of my business then knew you or connected me. Yeah. She was like, I found this girl and I think she's going to be great. And I'm like, that is so funny because I just came across her profile too. So
it is true because I had professional photos. Yes. My brother is a photographer and I had professional photos. And if you really look at a lot of VAs or assistants online, a lot of them have self-taken photos and it can deter someone from you just look so much more legit if you have.
Yeah. You had a brand.
Yeah, I did. I had colors, I had fonts, I had everything. And I do think it kind of took me to the next level at that point. But yeah, I think you found me on Instagram and you slid into my DMs.
Yes. And then it was just we chatted and talked. And it's funny because looking back, it was you were 7 months pregnant?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And everything on paper is I'm hiring a brand new business manager coming into the business and she's going on maternity leave in a few weeks. It didn't make sense, but I just trust so deeply in the bigger picture. And I think that's so important to remember that it's not who you need right then, but is this somebody that's worth going through, a maternity leave and then
totally
who you want in the long run.
I think I was in a really interesting place also because I was 7 months pregnant. I was kind of feeling, because at the time I was running my own business and I was in this place of feeling really run down.
Yeah.
When you own your own business, it's a lot of work, but it's even harder when you're doing it all by yourself. And I was just at this place where I was ready to just jump in with someone full time and be someone. I think actually where I thrive is being someone's right hand woman.
Yes, you do.
So I was kind of thirsting for that, but I didn't know it really until you asked me, which is funny because I remember the first voice note you sent me. Or maybe, maybe we had been chatting a little bit, but it was really the first one where you were like, listen, I know you're pregnant, but are you looking for something that you can grow into a full-time role? And once you asked me that question, I was like, you know what? I am.
Yes.
I really am starting to, and this kind of already gets us into the feminine energy of it all because you are a feeler.
100%. 100%.
And I almost felt like you felt that about me before I felt it about myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good.
Which really is the bulk of this podcast, or today's episode at least, is how you can feel things and then how I create the structure around it.
Yes.
Yes. So, you felt that about me even before I knew it about myself. So
and I think I learned that too with other people. It's I had gotten to the point where I was accommodating what that person needed for so long. Okay. They want it to be this way, or they want to work this many hours, or this is what they have available. And through that journey, I was no, I'm really clear that everyone on the team, I want them to be all in and be there for the long game and not just a part-time situation.
Yeah.
And I know it takes some growing to get there, but I think that was the perfect timing for us to meet too. Cause it was I was clear on that. And then it brought that clarity to you, but
Yeah, the universe brought us together
for sure
at the right time.
And you are definitely like the structure to all the flow. I think that is like really important. I know that's what we're chatting about today. It's like finding that person to complement you, because I am like an idea machine. You know it. I'm like popping in. Okay, guys, I have this idea. I have this new vision, but visions don't go anywhere without a plan.
100%.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes is about, I feel like I might butcher this, but it's about your failure actually comes from the lack of systems and the lack of structure rather than your hard work. It doesn't even, you could want it so bad. You could feel like it's going to you could want it so bad, but you are at the mercy of your structure and your systems and your organization, and
brings it to life.
Yeah. That is like a core value of mine. Clearly, I'm such a structure person, and I've seen it time and time. I've been in so many people's businesses as a VA, and I've seen it. Your business will fail unless you have some sort of structure in it.
Yes. And you bring that to us, and you bring that to our clients. Like, I think that's like the most unique thing about like you too. It's like you stay in that zone of genius. And I think we all do as a team. Like, I think it's really cool the way we just like, the other day I was talking to somebody and I was like, okay, it's almost like I'm in the center with like the vision. Yeah. And it's like, we create this like wheel, everybody, you know what I mean? And, or like a piece of a pie, however you want to see it. But it's like, everyone is just really strong in like what they do. And then collectively we fill in all the gaps. Yeah. Versus trying to have, like in the past, I'd have people that like that one person was trying to fill in multiple gaps. Yep. And I just think it's great because you do this for us. And then for the clients, like social media and strategy, like we can come up with all these visions and capture all these gorgeous content. But like you are the person that's like, okay, this is exactly what we need. This is where we're going to, you know, put the strategy in and like make it seen and get it out there.
Yeah. And you going back to saying you're an idea machine, there are so many times,
so many ideas
where Haylee will just like run. And she'll be like, and this. And I have to like, reel you in a little bit and be like, all right, all of that was amazing. We'll jot it down into our brainstorm folder. But the reality is we kind of like logistically have to look at some of these ideas and be like, okay, like, how do we actually put this into play? What does that actually cost? What does the time look like on that? Like, so, and again, it just goes back to us complimenting each other because you have amazing ideas. I mean, it's part of like, it's truly your gift.
It is, yes.
But sometimes I have to be like, wait a sec.
Well, it's like, it's funny here with my analogies. I'm always like, okay, so trailblazing, right? I feel like I'm sometimes at the front of the trail, just like blazing through like the unknown of like, you know, and I'm very aware now, like a lot of these visions are like future, like they're not meant for today. They're meant for like, you know, but then having that strong team behind you where I don't have to turn around and look anymore. Yeah. It's kind of like keep blazing and keep going. And then it's like, you guys have such a like system and strategy that like brings that to life, even if we are a little bit ahead of ourselves, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So it's that balance.
It's really magical. I know but it is.
It really is.
It is. A little bit of my background here, I guess. I was an executive assistant to a CEO of a tech company for over almost 6 years. And so I saw a lot there, like lots of high wealth individuals, like lots of, I had my hands in marketing. I had my hands in sales. I like you really being the gatekeeper of the CEO, like you see everything. You almost see things before the CEO. You get to decide what gets to him and what doesn't. So, or her. So I know what it's like to have that like magical relationship with someone, like business wise, and to be like, okay, this is my person, and this is like we're a team. Yeah, literally, like my business lobster. And I feel that with you. I kind of felt it from the beginning, and it's like, okay, like this is my lobster.
Yes. And then like the first immersion that you came on and like seeing how that helped support us so much more. I was like, oh my gosh, like it totally took it to the next level because we're a bunch of creatives. I mean, Kyle's back there. Nodding his head, like 100%. And for you to be there and be like, okay, so yes, these are the visions. Like, here's what we want to bring forward, but like, here's the plan. Yeah. Like, here's the exact shot list. Here's exactly what we're doing. And those types of things, like I sometimes resist, you know, and to, like to have you on in that area, it brings such a strength to all of us.
Yeah.
And I loved that you were the gatekeeper for the CEO. Like that really helps me too.
I tell people all the time, like, if you really want to meet with someone, it's really not about meeting the CEO. It's about meeting their assistant. So it's they don't play. Like, some of the most powerful people in the companies are the assistants to the executives. So
yeah. And that's helped me a lot too, is you've put a lot of that in play where it's like, okay, maybe not everything needs to go through me.
100%.
Because before it was like everything was going through me, and it's just it's a lot. And some of these decisions I don't need to know about, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. So I think one of the biggest structures we put into play at TSS is really like almost auditing energy.
Yes.
Like, we've audited your energy.
That's exactly what we've done.
You know, to really be like, okay, well, where is it leaking? Like, where is your time going? Where's your energy leaking? And like, does that even need to go to you? Like, could it come to me? Could it come to Hannah? Could it come to Kyle? Could it come to Melissa? And really understanding that, like, we all have amazing gifts and we all play a very important role. Mm-hmm. The whole reason we get everything done is because everyone's so amazing. But it's just about delegating and understanding that you don't have to be the point person every time.
Yes. And I mean, we've worked, I think last year was a huge year of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that's been like the first full year you've been on, but like, it really was such a change of like, I felt like I had to have control into every little thing, you know, like, oh, I need to see every design that comes through. I need to see every little thing, and checking emails even. You're like, do you really need to look in the inbox all the time, you know? And auditing that and being more conscious has freed up so much more of my gifts. Mm-hmm. Like, the creativity can't come through when I'm focusing on like that analogy again, like turning around, blazing the trail and having to turn around and make sure every little detail is done. And like, that's the trust also in you.
I was literally just about to say trust is huge. Yeah. It's all about trust. It's like trusting that like we're going to handle things. And if it's something that you need to see, we're going to bring it to you.
Yes.
But
deep trust.
Yeah. And it takes a while.
It does.
Yeah.
But when you find the right person, it's easier.
Yeah.
For sure. Because I feel like we're a match. I know that you're going to like think the way I think and see things the way I see things too. And
yeah. We hope you are enjoying this episode. Hey, I have a question for you. Is your brand feeling like it no longer matches who you are or what your business looks like now? Trust me, we get this all the time. Clients come to us because they have simply outgrown their current branding. Send us a DM on Instagram and find out about our unique Brand in a Day offer, where we will create an entire brand in 6 hours. Yes, you heard that right. No more emailing back and forth and waiting 8 to 10 weeks for your brand to be complete. You will spend the day with us virtually as Haylee refines your messaging and brand strategy, while our designer Jade builds your logo, fonts, colors, and even your soul symbol in real time. It is truly an experience of a lifetime. My question is, what is your advice to other people when they are, if they feel like they're drowning or their energy is leaking out of their business and they like want to find their person, their right-hand person, like what would be your advice to them?
I think it first starts with being clear yourself on what you really need. Because there's so many times I thought I needed things that I'm always in the future. Like, I want this person to help me with like something that was a little bit further out than I really needed.
Yeah.
It's like, number one, you need a strong right-hand person. Like, I do think that's it. And being really honest on like, what are the things that drain you? What are the things you're not good at? And what are the things that like are exhausting you or you just don't enjoy doing?
Yeah.
And getting rid of those off your plate first. So it's not always about like, you know, like this is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. Like, I've waited on doing a podcast and a YouTube channel for the longest time because it wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
It was like, we needed things like the structure and the systems. So, you know, I think getting really clear on what drains you, what are the things your weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me, it is structure.
Yeah. So before we pull a question, I'm going to just give a little hot tip of advice for someone who maybe wants to start doing this, but doesn't know where to start. So this is something I tell business owners all the time, or I used to tell business owners, and something I think we did with you, maybe not in a more concrete way, but we definitely did it in other ways. If you are like, I know that I need help, but I don't know where all of my time goes, or I don't know like where that energy is actually leaking. I want you to track your time in Toggle or another time tracking app completely for 1 week. I'm talking everything. I'm talking if you're in the shower, I want you to track in that app, like I'm taking a shower. If you are answering emails, I want you to track that, like literally before you do any task, just for 1 week. It doesn't, you don't have to do this all the time because I know it can be, there are super easy apps in your phone or on your computer. Track your time completely for 1 week. And then after that week, you can go back and look at your time and be like, I guarantee you'll be surprised that there's something that you're doing that's taking you very long. And if you're a business owner and you're a CEO, your time is money. Like time is money. So if you are spending 6 hours a week answering emails, or I don't know, I mean, it could be even higher than that, like 10 hours a week, just
posting on social media,
or I guarantee your time is worth more than that task. And there are amazing people that you can add to your team that will take that off of your plate. And I mean, obviously we can do it.
Yes.
And that will give you back that time that you can do higher earning tasks. So hot tip.
Yeah.
I highly suggest.
Well, it goes hand in hand like we do. It's like, okay, so your energetic time, like what is your energy worth? Yeah. Because if you're drained, then your zone of genius isn't going to get its potency.
Yeah.
And then if your time is spent on tasks that aren't really, good at, like you could hire someone at a lower price or, whatever it might be, somebody that can take that task off your hand.
Yeah. For me too, when I do this sometimes in my personal life just to like understand where my time goes. I have,
of course you do.
Yeah, I know. I know. Are you shocked? But like, I have a 10-month-old daughter now, and it's interesting now. I'm like, okay, if I'm feeling super overwhelmed, I will literally do that practice and track my time for a week. And I'll be like, oh my God, I spent so much time cleaning the house. And it's like, maybe it's worth my time to hire a cleaner that come once a week, or little things like that. That's like, what's making me feel overwhelmed and how can I audit it? But again, this goes back to the like structure person of me. You cannot, you do not know how to move forward and make changes unless you know what's actually happening now. And the only way you can do that is with data.
Yes.
Same with social media. I tell people all the time, the only way to actually create a strategy is if you understand what is currently happening right now in your socials, on all your platforms, in your business. You have to have data of what is working and what isn't. And the only way you do that is if you take the time to look at your analytics, look at your structure, look at your strategy, all that stuff. But that's another episode.
That's a whole other episode, but I love it. It's true. People have kind of gotten away from facts, Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and this is like, again, back to the yin and yang thing. Like, this is what makes our relationship work, is because you really are that more creative, flowy, intuitive, like person. And I am clearly like data, fact, like structure. And we just perfect.
And I think it's one more thing we'll add before we kind of pull a card here, but it's like understanding that, like, I used to resist the structure, but it's like knowing that the opposite thing, like maybe you are more a creative person, that maybe that's, or maybe the opposite, right? Whichever side you lean more on, the yin and yang, it's like you don't have to resist the other side, or like, oh, something's wrong with me or I'm not good at it. But like that other side strengthening it. So whether it's with yourself or a team member, actually gives you more of that life force, you more of what you do enjoy. Yeah. So it's like the structure is not taking away from the creativity. It's actually adding to it, because now I have the energetic space and the time space to do what I love to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I kind of had to get to that point where it's like, this is actually helping me to bring somebody on.
Yeah.
And fill that gap for me.
Okay. This might be my own like words of affirmation need coming out, but like,
I love you. You are amazing. She's like, I'm a words of affirmation girl. I'm like, I'm always say it.
I'm always telling people, I'm like, listen, my love language words, I need you to tell me how you feel about me. Okay. But in the past year, since it's been over a year now that we've been together, like, do you feel like things have grown? And
oh, yes.
Okay. I knew the answer.
She's like, but I want to hear it. 100% grown and gotten like deeper. And like, I think it's given us the ability for all of us to strengthen our gifts.
Yeah.
100%.
Yay.
You are the reason that we are amazing.
I'm definitely not the only reason. Okay. But
you are. And like each of us are, like, you know what I mean? It's like, when we can stick, like we said before, when you can stick to your zone of genius, it like really brings life to everyone. But the TSS has changed dramatically this past year. Dramatically, like doubled in every which way. And I know that that's from the strength of you and the team.
I feel like another episode that we can, this is again, another episode, but we can talk about maybe some of the like sticky parts of that, of the growth.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
Because there's definitely some like, it feels like walking through mud a little bit at some points with the growth, and like implementing those systems and implementing that structure can feel, especially for someone like you who really, it goes back to the resisting, like it can feel really difficult and really like you're walking through mud, but it's worth it in the end.
It's so worth it. Should we draw a card?
Let's draw a card.
I feel like you should pull it.
Okay. The universe is going to give us what we need.
Don't pull a tricky one.
You want me to read it?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What is it?
How do you make important decisions?
Oh, gosh. Well,
I know.
We probably know this one.
This is not planned.
Okay. How do I make important decisions? Honestly, I trust the feelings so much. Like I really am a feeling person and an intuitive. And I think it comes to the psychic gifts and like, you know, I'm learning to trust that more and more. But I make decisions based off of like how it feels. And sometimes I'll even do this where I'm like, okay, how does it feel right now? And then I imagine myself like in a year from now, like, okay, how does it feel then? And I try to like feel into like the longevity of decisions. But I've learned that like, just because you want to feel into a decision doesn't mean it has to be instant either. Like you can hold on to that. You can like, okay, how does it feel in a couple of days from now too? But I really do trust my intuition a lot with important decisions.
Interesting.
What about you?
So this is interesting because, you know, we've talked about me being a structure, I feel, and me talking about data and all that. You would think that I would like to take a beat and like look at the facts and the data, but I'm actually quite a decisive person. I think back to planning my wedding. Like my mom could not get over how fast I made decisions. She like the planner would show us something and I'd be like, yes, no. Like I just would know. That. And they couldn't get over it. But I just know. That sounds like, but I just know when things are right or like even us meeting. Like I swear I just was like, yes, I'm in. Like even before we worked together.
You have a strong inner confidence though. Like your inner certainty is like, we were talking about that yesterday shooting content. Like you are just so confident in your body and in yourself. So I think that really impacts decisions. Yeah. You know, like
I do. I move. Someone actually told me this once. Like a friend's mom, they were like, you move so confidently through the world.
Yes, you do.
And that's,
I have chills.
Yeah, thanks. And I do. I don't know. I think it's a parenting thing. Honestly, I think my mom raised me to be like really confident and strong. And like, it's been a positive for me for sure in my life. Like, I think that's the reason I've been successful and starting my own business and doing all sorts of things. But I'm just very decisive. So I don't know that I have a great answer for this other than
you trust yourself.
Yeah. I'm confident in my decisions and I decide confidently.
Well, thanks. This was amazing.
I know. This was so fun. I love you. So I think that's it. We'll do a pre-recorded outro. If you enjoyed this episode, let's move this relationship to the next level. The friend zone, baby. Head to the show notes and click the link to join our close friends list where you will gain access to knowing where we are, all our adventures, and exclusive pop-up offers at locations around the world. Plus, we hold nothing back on our close friend stories on IG. See you there.